find time to have those responded to. Now I suggest to switch to the next panel. Because I would like to pass on to Nataliia, who will moderate with Katarina Cotsaki. And then she will introduce Catherine. Nataliia is PhD, a lawyer, business mediator, and a partner. And she also graduated from our academy. Nataliia, I'm passing on to you. Yeah, I welcome everyone. It is my honor to introduce to you our next speaker, Catherine Cotsaki from Greece. She is accredited mediator, a trainer, a president of the Greek Academy of Mediation, and also she's a member of the committee, and it's a single community. She will conduct a unique masterclass dedicated to mentorship in mediation. This is quite topical because mentorship is not just about support. It's also like a vehicle that gives confidence to young mediators. It hones the skills and improves the trust to mediation. And it also helps to adapt our young colleagues for the new environment. So please take your questions and be inspired. So, Catherine, it is my pleasure to pass on to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Nataliia, for my presentation. I understood part of it, but in any case, I thank you very, very much. So,
sorry, Catherine, could I ask you please to turn on your Ukrainian language translation?
No, unfortunately, I'm not.
You need to find the globe. You need to find the globe in the bottom of your screen, or find 3 dots.
Yes, what should I find at the bottom?
Catherine, where is the letter? It could be A.
No, I haven't this. Nataliia, I'm on iPad.
Okay, it's no worries. iPad is also, you need to see, you can see more 3 dots on your iPad. So if you
yes,
click there, you could see interpretation.
Yes, correct.
Please choose English language so you will hear everything in English.
Okay.
And after that, you need to push done.
Done.
Yeah.
I did.
Тепер ви мене чуєте англійською.
Catherine, have you found it?
Can you hear us? Can you hear the English translation now?
Hear you? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, perfectly. Sorry, you could go.
Yeah, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, everything is okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Everything is good.
Can we start?
Yes, yes, Catherine. We can start, please.
Так, ви можете розпочинати.
Catherine, нас чутно?
You can start, Catherine. Can you hear us? Please start right away.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you very well. Please start.
So I can start. Thank you. So I have the honor to have been invited to speak at this 9th International Forum regarding mediation and law, organized by the Ukrainian Academy of Mediation, which I congratulate very warmly for all the tremendous work all of you are doing in spite of the hard times you are faced to. And it is really amazing. And at the end, if we have time, I will convey to you some comments which have been done when I announced that I will be speaking at this international forum. So my topic, as you know, is the mentoring of young lawyers and the exploration to what extent it needs to be mandatory or not. First of all, allow me to remind you that mediation is, I will give a definition which is practical but very close to the reality instead of complicated definitions. So mediation is a peaceful way of solving disputes of any kind, provided they rank for mediation, because there are disputes which do not, as you know. From the very ancient times, people used to tend to turn towards peaceful settlement of their disputes, which allowed them to live in peace and to continue the relationship with other members of the community. Unfortunately, nowadays, all the values of the human beings have been, if not abandoned, but overwhelmed by the love of power and money. Taking this into consideration, we can understand that people are ready, the communities are ready, the states are ready to do whatever they can to acquire power, strength, money. We can see this every day, unfortunately. So, to come back to ADR, to the predominance of ADR, we need to have the mentality of the whole community change. The change of anything is not something which can happen in one day. And especially the change of mentality needs time and patience and efforts, and people prepare to do what they can to change the mentality. I will mention only one of the characteristics of the things which have to be changed. Unfortunately, in many countries, among which unfortunately Greece, we have the reluctance of lawyers to accept ADR. In some countries, the lawyers interpret the acronym ADR as an alarming drop in revenue, because they are scared that if mediation prevails in the other ADR methods, they will lose part of their income because the clientele will turn towards this peaceful means of resolution of disputes. Nowadays, this is the situation. It changes but very slowly, very slowly. Young lawyers are attracted by mediation, but as a member of the Commission of Exams of new mediators, of candidate mediators, I can say that their main goal is to make money. So in Greece, as well as in the countries which have implemented the European Directive 2008-52, mediators are educated by centers which are set up based on very strict rules. Who can have such a center? What are the conditions and the qualities it has to fulfill, etc. Now, what we see during the exams is that these young people, first, they are afraid. Second, they are embarrassed. Third, they know almost nothing. And I say this because when I put questions which are very clear and very common, if I may say so, they are not able to answer. On the other hand, in my capacity as chairwoman of the Hellenic Union of Mediators, I have the opportunity, or many times I receive phone calls from desperate young mediators. When I say young mediators, I mean both young because they are young in age, but also young in experience, putting questions to me which are answered very clearly by the law. They have not the passions to read the law and to understand it. Another phenomenon which we see is that such questions are very often posted on Facebook, on LinkedIn more seldom, but especially on Facebook. And in spite of my instructions to the members of the union not to answer such questions, many mediators who are experienced, because they want to expand their, to become more known and to acquire more clientele, answer this question, which entails a risk of errors, of misinterpretations, and we can see this very often. So what is the remedy to all this situation? To my opinion, one strong remedy, not only the only one, but one which necessary be included in the whole situation, is mentoring, mentoring. Greek legislation provides that the centers must set up simulation of mediations for their trainees. But this is not enough, because during this simulation of mediation, not anybody can put the questions he wishes, and in any case, a simulation is different than a mediation in real life. So what would be the solution? The solution would be for every mediator feeling the need to be mentored, to be guided, to have knowledge of older mediators, more experienced, shared with him to appoint one trainer, one mentor. Okay, this is very nice to be heard, but unfortunately, it is not feasible because it costs money. And not everybody can afford the expenses to have a private mentor. So what was found as a solution is to make teams who can, teams of mediators who can appoint one mediator and have meetings with him during which they can put their questions, they can submit their concerns and seek for answers and remedies to that. We are all human beings and we all do mistakes. This is something unavoidable. What has to be taken care of is that we do not repeat our faults. First of all, that we acknowledge them, and second, that we do not repeat them, which is very important. The mentor could remind the mentees which compose the team an adage which is ancient but very accurate, according to which if you fall 7 times, you have to stand up 8 times. Now let us see what is mentoring. Mentoring is to share, for the mentor to share his knowledge with the mentees. The mentees usually accept the feedback, the debriefing. Sometimes they are annoyed by that. If they have choose to have a mentoring, it is granted, or we could take it as given, that they are prepared to listen and to accept the criticism of the mentor, which criticism should be done in a polite way, showing the interest of the mentor not to sanction the mentees, but to share with them his knowledge and experience. How long would the mentorship last? We cannot say, but we can say that the mentorship is longer than the coaching. What is the difference between the two? The coaching is a method based on which the coach helps the coachee to find himself the goal he wishes to reach, and to help him finding his way. This is the coaching, which lasts usually for a shorter period, for a period until the coachee finds his goal and is able to take the steps needed for it to be attended. On the contrary, the mentorship could last many years, as long as the mentee considers that he needs the help of a mentor. Usually, there are no contracts in writing concluded between the mentor and the mentee. It is an approach which must be set up on, which must be based on trust. If there is no any fees of the mentor, there is no need to have any agreement in writing to provide, for instance, because if there are fees, it has to be provided who will pay them, how, and etc. But usually the agreement is oral between the mentor and the mentees, especially when it is a team mentorship, where it is stated, for instance, how many times per week the mentees can call the mediator, the mentor, to put their questions. Usually, the mentees are under pressure because they want to put questions immediately after they have terminated one mediation process. They ask themselves, have I done it correctly? Especially when the mediation fails, they are very concerned. They put questions to themselves. Have I done it correctly? Have I done mistakes? Can they be corrected? Have I shown trust, created trust with the parties in the process? Have I shown the momentum to the parties, to their interests, and many other similar questions? These questions, of course, cannot be put to the formation center from which they come, because they have finished their studies there and they are no more connected with the center. So they need the mentor to put to him, but as soon as possible. For instance, a mentor would commit professional error if he says, look, you can call me once per month. This is not realistic. So if they can put their questions and concerns to the mentor once per week, this is much better, of course. The mentor must be polite, he must be creative, he must be helpful, understandable, show comprehension to the mentees, and do his best to offer them his knowledge. There is a kind of mentorship where the mentors offer not only knowledge, but also opportunities. It is sure that nowadays we can find easily information. The getting of information is not the main point of a mentorship, because we can find on Google and other machines. The main concerns of young mediators is to have opportunities. So in some kinds of mentorship, the mentor opens doors for the mentees through his connections, through everything he can do to introduce young people to find their way. As I said before, the mentorship can last as long as the mentee feels that he needs to be sustained by a mentor. Forgive me 1 second. Meantime, I will remind you that in many fields of knowledge, in many schools, like for instance, medical school, you have the mentorship, which is mandatory. and in many other sectors as well. To my opinion, mentorship should be mandatory for mediators. I would not accept that mediators can be left to make mediations without having been supervised by an experienced mentor. I do not know whether you have spoken or another person will speak about UNCITRAL model law, but I wanted to say that the reluctance of lawyers, we have seen why they are reluctant mainly, but also there is a reluctance from the part of the clientele. Why are they reluctant? Because the mediator does not issue any judgment. And it is easy for their lawyer to tell them, look, if we go to mediation, you will waste time and money, because at the end of the day, in any case, you will have to go to court. And this is why both the European directive I mentioned before, UNCITRAL law, and the national legislations of many countries, among which Greece, have provided that if an agreement is reached at the end of a mediation process, such an agreement can become very easily an enforceable title based on a very simple procedure, which much of the times is a mere formality. In Greece, for instance, it is really a simple formality, as compared, for instance, to other countries where the internal legislation provides that the agreement has to be ratified by a court. This is not the case in Greece. So in that way, the clientele is more attracted by mediation and can easily ask their lawyers, why don't we go to mediation? If this question is put to the lawyer by a client, it is difficult for the lawyer to say no. Although there is a provision in Greek legislation according to which the lawyer and the client must sign a formular in which they state that the lawyer has informed the client that there is a possibility for resolution of the dispute by means of ADR and especially by mediation. Although this has to be done, otherwise it is a fault on the part of the lawyer. In spite of that, lawyers discourage their clientele to go to mediation, as I said before. We, as a union of mediators, submit often memoranda to the Ministry of Justice, who is pro-mediation, and we make suggestions or point out articles which should be changed or completed, among which this necessity of mentorship. Many of our propositions have been accepted today, but not all of them. We continue to fight, and we hope we will be successful. Ways to expand ADR and mediation would be the organizations of events by the authorities, the Ministry of Justice and other authorities, by the Center of Education of Mediators, by unions, in which access will be free and allowed to any person interested in mediation, particularly lawyers, mediators, scholars, etc. Another means is the opening of a portal where let's say two, this is what we have done in our portal, two experienced mediators attend for 2 hours, accompanied by some young mediators who have a lot to learn out of their presence in this portal. It has to be noted also that the last law on the more recent law on mediation, which is dated 2019, provides the obligation of the mediators to make every 3 years to make take a new course for them to be updated about the progress of mediation, and possibly to allow their trainers to check whether they have done progress or not. Now, I would like to tell you, I hope it will interest you, the origin of the word mentor. As a matter of fact, mentor was the name of an old man in the Odyssey of Homer, and the person who, helped by the goddess Athena, took care of the young son of Odyssey, Telemachus, in his time of difficulty. This is just a point of history. I think that I have told you everything I wanted to underline about mentorship.
Кетрін, дуже дякую за
Catherine, thank you very much. Can you hear us? Can you hear the interpreting?
Yes, I can hear you, but I have started the sentence.
Я вибачаюсь, можливо, це технічні збої. Будь ласка, продовжуйте, будь ласка.
Yes, please continue, please continue.
Yes, no problem. It is very, very short. In other countries, many training centers provide mentorship, and most of them free of charge. This is the ideal. Now, I would like to speak to you very shortly, very quickly, about mentoring activation profile. What is mentoring activation profile? It is a practical tool developed by Amanda Jones, who is the founder of Leadership Shaper. According to Amanda, mentoring is about connecting the ambition of the mentee to the wisdom of the mentor. I like very much this. Every successful mentoring needs 3 core elements, which are contracting, connection, and capability. They are called the 3 C's, the letter C, of mentorship. I'll stop there because I think that my time has elapsed.
Дякую дуже, Кетрін.
Thank you very much, Catherine. This was very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing a practical experience. And I think this is a good guidance for all of us how to support those mediators who are only starting, only embarking on their path, and how to make sure that mentorship blossoms and becomes more popular. And we have a question. According to Socratic method, how in Greece mentorship is used? Perhaps, Catherine, you could tell us a bit more on how you can link ancient traditions and what's happening in modern Greece today.
Oh, in modern Greece today, thank you for the question. It gives me the opportunity to tell you that what upsets me very much, I dare to tell this, I said it before, is that the young people look especially after money. Finish. Why do they turn to mediation? Because after they are certified by that training center, they present the exams, and if they are successful, they are accredited by the Ministry of Justice. They are in a registry. If the parties going to mediation do not agree regarding the person of the mediator, they go to the Ministry of Justice and ask for the nomination of a mediator. The Ministry of Justice takes a name from the registry. So they want to be definitely in this registry to make money. Although I have to tell, to be fair, that the remuneration is very low. Very low. But still.
І ще одне запитання.
And there is one more question here, Catherine. In the Socratic method, is the Socratic method used by mentors in Greece when they work? The Socratic method.
The Socratic method is a method which we like very much. We appreciate it and consider it very efficient. If I could speak about me, I could assure you that I use this method every time.
Дуже дякую.
Thank you very much for this, Catherine. It's been so inspiring. I want to thank everybody for being with us. And of course, I hope that everybody tried to reflect a little bit about it. Catherine, I read so many thanks messages in the chat to you. Thank you for sharing your experience. I hope in the future, what you were talking about through mentorship and mediation, this is going to be disseminated all across the world, including in Ukraine. Thank you so much. Thanks to the organizers. And unless you have questions, then I'm handing over the floor back to Luisa. Please.
And thank you very much, all of you, Luisa, Svetlana, the gentleman speaking now, Nataliia, for their support, and especially for having invited me to participate to this tremendous event. Thank you so much.
Дякуємо, дякую.
Дякую, Кетрін. Дякую,
Thank you,
Наталя.
Catherine. Thanks, Nataliia.
Дійсно було дуже цікаво.
Yeah, this is very interesting to not only learn more about so many different issues that we were discussing today, but also take care of the future generations of mediators, to really take care and support them, because there are a lot of beginners. And this all contributes to much better quality. I thank you very much, Catherine, again, for sharing your own experience and telling us how you have organized this in Greece.